Why are you crying? You are very lucky to work here. The managers of the workhouse told Oliver when he arrived. We will give you food and a bed for nothing. The workhouse was a large, cold building.
Oliver was introduced to the other boys, who were all thin and weak, as he was. They wore old clothes that were too big for them. Oliver worked hard at the workhouse with these boys and quickly realized that his life was not going to become any easier. His bed was uncomfortable, and the food was never enough. All they ate was a thin soup. The boys he worked with were always hungry.
After a few months, they were all so close to starving that they made a plan.
They decided they must have more food, and they chose Oliver to ask for it. That evening, in the big, cold hall, the boys finished eating their usual thin soup. Then Oliver stood up and walked to the master, who gave them their food. "Please, sir, I want more food," said Oliver. His master was furious. No one had ever asked for more before. "What did you say?" he cried. There was now silence in the big room. "Please, sir, I want some more," Oliver repeated.
The master angrily took Oliver's arm and immediately led him to the managers of the workhouse.
He told them what Oliver had said. If he is not happy with our generosity, the managers said he must leave. They decided to lock Oliver in the room and put a message on the door of the workhouse. It said that the workhouse would give £5 to anyone who could take the boy away from them. For weeks, Oliver stayed in the cold, dark room. He cried himself to sleep each night, then woke up each morning and began to cry again. He had never felt so alone. He was only taken from the room when it was time to eat.
Mr. Bumble did not want any of their other boys to ask for more food, so, while they were eating, Mr. Bumble made Oliver stand in front of them. Then he beat Oliver.
This happened every day until a man called Sowerberry read the message on the workhouse gate.
Mr. Sowerberry, the coffin maker, decided that he needed an apprentice, and told Mr. Bumble that he could take Oliver Twist.
A new chapter in the boy's life was about to start.
The next day, Mr. Bumble took Oliver from the workhouse and walked with him to Mr. Sowerberry's house. As they were walking down the street, Mr. Bumble was surprised to see that Oliver was crying. "Why are you crying?" Mr. Bumble shouted. "You should be happy to have the opportunity to work with someone like Mr. Sowerberry." "I will be a good boy," said Oliver. "But I have no." "You have no what?" asked Mr. Bumble. "I have no friends," said Oliver quietly. Mr. Bumble was not interested in Oliver's feelings. They continued to Mr. Sowerberry's house. But when Oliver's new employer saw him, he was not happy. "He is very small, Mr. Bumble," Mr. Sowerberry complained. "He is small, but he will grow," explained Mr. Bumble. "But it will cost money to feed him," said Mr. Sowerberry's wife. She took Oliver downstairs and gave him some old food that they had not eaten